What is up, YouTube? It's your boy, TheWalk71, replaced David 4, and I'm here with another WWE wrestling review for you all. It's another January, which means it's another year for the Royal Rumble. But this year is a little different. Mainly, we started it's Monday, but it happened yesterday right before the Rumble. We started with some very, very tragic, sad news with the death of one of basketball's greatest players in Kobe Bryant. I'm not going to spend too much talking about it, but I'm going to give my little piece right now while I'm at it. Kobe Bryant was the main basketball player that really got me into watching NBA. I mean, other than me getting into 2K, when he was on the cover back in like 2010 to the like 2009, 2010, when I started actually watching basketball seriously, because I usually would just watch it with my dad, but I didn't know anybody on it. When I actually seriously watched it, it was like when he was in the playoffs against the Boston Celtics, and I believe he won the second championship, I believe. And I was watching it, and I was like, yo, this dude is cold. And then I went back and watched like other stuff, and I'm like, bro, Kobe is that dude. Unfortunately, in that, it also took away his daughter, his 13-year-old daughter, Gigi, who he was actually training to be the next, I guess, version of him, or the first, to kind of carry his basketball legacy. But, instead of having a son and, going to the NBA, he had a daughter who was going to go to the WNBA for sure. And unfortunately, it took them two away and other people in that plane crash. So I send prayers up to his family, his wife, his father who lost a son, his wife who lost a daughter and a husband, and the other people that are on the plane too, because I know their families are probably like in a tough spot right now. Because like I know I read one about the passengers that it was a mother, father, and their kid on that plane too, and they left behind like two other kids. So like I can only imagine how that can go. But not gonna spend too much more talking about it. Rest in power, the Black Mamba, Kobe, the GOAT, number 24. Let's get it. So we had the pre-show, 2-hour pre-show, because this is one of the big 4 pay-per-views. So I guess we get long-ass pre-shows. This one had 2 pre-show matches, one that was announced and then one that just happened. So the first match we got was Sheamus versus quote-unquote Shorty G, but I'm going to call his ass Chad Gable because that's who he is. This match has been pretty much been building up on SmackDown ever since Sheamus had returned with his old look from like 2010. Sheamus with the mustache without the chin hair or whatever. I don't even know what to call it. Goatee. So he's back to his old look. I can't even really tell you that I was paying attention to this match much. I can't even really tell you that I cared for it too much. I mean, I saw some stuff. I saw Chad Gable do a Chaos Theory. I thought that was cool. But I mean, the match ended with Sheamus hitting Gable with a bro kick, which I don't think it was ever in doubt that Sheamus wasn't going to win. So Sheamus won. I actually thought he was going to, participate in the Royal Rumble because I saw a promo he did on SmackDown where he mentioned it, but I thought he was actually going to be in it, but I guess not. So Sheamus beat Chad Gable in his first official match back on WWE TV. Where does this go from here? I don't know. Let's see, where do we end up? So the next match we got was a match that I actually was looking forward to. As soon as I could scroll down, because once again I'm one-handed today. Damn. Let's see. There we go. So we had the WWE United States Championship match, Humberto Carrillo versus Andrade. Now this is a match. These are a series of matches that's been on Raw and on pay-per-view between these two, and these two have had pretty good matches. And unfortunately, it really just like hurts me that like they put these two on the pre-show of every pay-per-view. At TLC when they had their little match, that was on the pre-show, and now at Royal Rumble when they have their match, that was on the kickoff show or the pre-show or whatever. But these two did great from everything I saw. Let's see, where do I even start? There was spots of Humberto doing backflips and getting countered. I saw one part where he did a dive to the outside on Andrade and hit his back on the barricade. There's strikes being traded. Humberto tried to go for a moonsault, but was countered by Andrade. He went for the knees for the corner. Andrade tried to go for what was it? The hammerlock DDT, but that didn't work. Let's see what else. What else in this match happened? A lot of stuff happened. It was like a match I was looking at and paying attention to, and it was really good. There was one spot in the match where Carrillo did like a super, I guess you could say, yeah, a super hurricanrana off of the top rope. I thought that was like pretty dope for them to, both be balanced up and, being able to do that. I thought that was pretty dope. We get towards the end of the match, and basically both men are trading like roll-ups until eventually Andrade's roll-up works and he wins the match and retains the WWE United States Championship. I thought the match was pretty good. Overall, I don't see this being their last match because, I mean, if you know WWE and if you know how they do matches and you know that if they get matches that are successful and hit with the crowd, that means we're going to get it like 30 times more. So I don't expect this to be their last match. This probably would be like their last good match because if they're going to start having more matches, which is almost definite, they're not going to be as good. So anyways, we open up the show with the Falls Count Anywhere match between Roman Reigns and King Corbin. Another match I really could not care for just because like the build-up between Reigns and Corbin, I just didn't care. If you are one of the few that actually listen to my TLC review, then you would know that like I didn't really care for the TLC match. I barely even talked about it much because there wasn't much to talk about with it. I don't know. In this match, it was cool. It was a good opener, but there wasn't really much of it that really interested me. Corbin put Reigns through a table. Then eventually towards the match, we get the stuff where the Usos fight Bobby Roode and Dolph Ziggler, and they just brawl until like one of the Usos jump off of a platform and just kills everybody. Reigns put Corbin in a porta potty and flipped the porta potty because I guess that's comedy in WWE. Whatever. Eventually, both men are just fighting in the dugout area. And eventually it ends with Roman Reigns spearing Baron Corbin on top of the dugout and winning the match. So it was a good opener. It's a fun little match to open the show with. And I'm glad they got that match like over with. But I mean, hopefully this is it between Roman and hopefully this is the last we see of Roman and Baron Corbin. But like knowing WWE and knowing like I said before, how repetitive matches get and how many times we've seen the same matches between the same people, I feel like that's not even remotely close to being their last match together neither. So, after that, we end up getting the 30-woman Royal Rumble match, the third one. What can I say about this match? I enjoyed it until we got to the end. I'm not about to go through like every elimination because like that I don't have time for that. I'm just going to go over the stuff I found interesting. So the first two people to come out was Alexa Bliss and Bianca Belair. And I actually got hyped because Bianca Belair is like one of my favorite women's wrestlers in NXT, damn near in WWE, period. Basically, they did their thing. The number 3 spot went to Molly Holly, but she was her superhero character when she was Mighty Molly, when she was like teaming with the Hurricane and whatnot. Pretty much just, like nothing really went on too much. Bianca Belair was like going crazy because she was eliminating people left and right. She even got to a point where she's tied. She eliminated 7 people, which is the most in a women's Royal Rumble match. And I would have said she holds that record, but I think it's tied with Shayna because when Shayna Baszler came out at the 30 spot, she eliminated like 7 people herself. Mercedes Martinez came out. I thought that was pretty dope. I think they're trying to get her over. Like, the crowd didn't react because they really didn't know who she was, but they were trying to get her over. I can respect that. Lana came out, and when she came out, the crowd booed. She cut a little promo or whatever, saying she's the best in the world. Then Liv Morgan came out. eliminated Lana. Then Lana eliminated Liv Morgan. Then they brawled all throughout. I guess they're trying to build up to their match that's going to happen on Raw tonight, which, Lord, I'll probably be asleep by then. So after that, Mandy Rose came out, and I thought she had one of the best spots in the match. So she got eliminated, and it looks like, you know, she's out of the match. But somehow, some way, my man's Otis is just under the ring, wherever he came from. He came from somewhere, because I did not see him, like, anywhere. She fell on top of his ass. And then eventually she used him to get back into the ring. Like, she stood on his giant stomach and got back into the ring and saved her. I thought that was, like, the best part of this match. We also got a standoff between Charlotte and Bianca Belair. That was pretty cool, but she ended up eliminating Bianca Belair, and I was like, damn, that was very fucked up. Eventually, we got the return of Naomi. I thought that was pretty dope. She came out, you know, with the natural hair, got the fro popping, came in. She was doing work. She was taking people out immediately. I thought that was cool that they, like, actually let her, you know, do her shit. Anything else? Yeah, Mia Yim came out. I thought that was pretty dope. Dakota Kai pulled up. Tegan Nox pulled up. They had a lot of NXT women in here. But then eventually, Toni Storm showed up too. I thought that was dope. That was pretty cool too. Beth Phoenix showed up at the number 19, and I believe she got her head busted open because the back of her head hit, like, the ring post. And you know, WWE has these giant ass electronic board ring posts now. They got the fucking Trons on it, so the motherfucker is huge. So she hit her head on the back of it, and she was bleeding, like, on the back of her head, but she kept going like a champ. We had a Kelly return, which I don't think nobody cared about. And one thing that got me was, it seems like NXT is pushing Shotzi Blackheart immediately. Like, she just got signed. She immediately had a match with Bianca Belair on, like, the Christmas show. Then she's in a feud with Shayna Baszler. She eliminated Shayna Baszler in the Women's Battle Royal. Looks like she's going to be in a feud with Deonna Purrazzo. So it looks like WWE or NXT or whatever seems to actually be using her. She came out the 26th spot. Like I said, Tegan Nox came out the 28th spot. And then Shayna Baszler came out to the number 30 spot with a pop. I didn't expect her to get the pop because she really didn't, have a reaction at at Survivor Series. Or at least that match in general didn't really have a reaction. But she came in, eliminated 7 people. So I believe she and Bianca Belair hold the she and Bianca Belair both hold the record for most eliminations in a Rumble match. So that's pretty cool. So basically everybody's getting eliminated one by one. We get to, like, the final people in the match, and Flair, who was, like, out of the match, I guess she got taken out, but she was never eliminated, just came out of nowhere and just eliminated Shayna Baszler and Beth Phoenix. No, Beth she got eliminated by Baszler, and then Flair and Baszler had, like, a little showdown before Flair eliminated Baszler and won the Rumble. How do I feel about this? Me personally, it's whatever. To be honest, the way I look at it, Charlotte is going to be in a high-profile women's title match at Mania, whether she wins the Rumble or not. I mean, look, last year she lost the Rumble, and she ended up in the main event of the Rumble. So anything is really possible. It doesn't matter. It's fucking Charlotte. Whatever happens, she's going to be in a high-profile match. And from the looks of it, Becky Lynch beat Asuka, so it looks like we're going to get Becky versus Charlotte again at Mania. And Charlotte's probably going to win the title once again. And honestly, I could care less. Like, I'm just at that point with Charlotte where I just don't care what she does. And I really feel like I'm not even going to care what they do at Mania, no matter how much build they try to put to it. There's literally no reason for Becky and Charlotte to have beef with each other now. But, I mean, she won the Rumble, so now she's going to face her. Becky has nothing to prove to Charlotte. She's beaten Charlotte countless times. So, who knows? Who cares? Whatever. Anyways, we get to the first of the 2 women's title matches. Yeah, the first of the 2 women's title matches. SmackDown women's title match. Lacey Evans versus Bayley. To tell you that I cared about this match would be an understatement. I don't care for this match. I didn't care for the build-up. I really don't even care for Lacey as a face. I kind of liked her as a heel because, I mean, she just looks like a heel. And I can't really tell you I paid attention to this match. I really didn't. I caught like the last part of it. I saw Lacey Evans go for her moonsault, and I guess she missed. And then Bayley went for something, and she won. Yeah, she tried to go for the springboard moonsault, and Bayley put the knees up, and then she went for the pin and won the match. It was a very awkward finish, and Sasha Banks wasn't involved in this match or the Women's Royal Rumble because apparently she was hurt, which is why her spot was given to Kelly Kelly of all people. I don't know. I think Bayley is the equivalent to TNA right now. And the comparison I'm making with that is like, no matter what Bayley does, nobody cares. She can have a good match and people just won't care. Just like when it comes to Impact, they have great pay-per-views. They're probably the most consistent wrestling company today. They have good matches, good pay-per-views, good moments. It's just that nobody cares. And it's just been that way. And I feel like it's the same way for Bayley because she turned heel, kind of cared for her more, but then after a while, she didn't really do much. So you're just like, Bayley, she's the champion, yeah, but she doesn't feel like the champion at all because she just never, I don't know. She just doesn't feel important as champion. But anyways, the next match we end up getting was the strap match for the WWE Universal Championship. Daniel Bryan versus The Fiend Bray Wyatt. This is a rematch from a match they had at Survivor Series. It's a continuation of the story. Basically, The Fiend has brought out a new Daniel Bryan, and Bryan feels as though he has a better chance beating The Fiend if he can contain him and not have The Fiend basically run around and whatnot, which is not what The Fiend does, but you know what I mean. So they had the strap match. Build up to it was actually pretty great. Like, that would be the only reason I would ever catch SmackDown would be for The Fiend stuff, The Fiend and Daniel Bryan stuff. That's pretty much the only thing I cared about on SmackDown so far. This match was good. I thought it was good. I thought it was probably the best Fiend match we got. I can see where some people don't like it because it kind of humanized The Fiend, and that's the whole purpose of The Fiend, is that he's not human. He's an abomination created by Bray Wyatt's imagination and somehow it became real. But the match itself was cool. It started off with pretty much The Fiend trying to kill Daniel Bryan, beating him with the strap. And he actually hit Bryan with his sister Abigail for a near fall. The momentum didn't really change until Bryan started kicking The Fiend in the nuts, which I guess confirms that The Fiend is human. He kicked The Fiend in the nuts like 30 times, hit him with a DDT on the announce table, and then it became an even fight. They started to go at it again. Daniel Bryan jumped over the top rope onto The Fiend while the strap was on his wrist. I thought that was pretty interesting. He also was carrying the strap and pulling it so that The Fiend goes like face first into the ring post a couple times. Daniel Bryan actually goes for the running knee for a near fall. There was a cool spot where Bryan puts the label lock on The Fiend and then takes the rope and chokes The Fiend with the rope. And then after that, that's when Bryan pretty much thought that, you know, he threw everything he could at The Fiend. He started trying to hit him with the strap, and then out of nowhere, The Fiend basically no-sells it. He basically stops becoming human. He fights him. He tries, but eventually you're going to get killed by The Fiend. And that's what happened. The Fiend caught Bryan. He tried to hit him with the claw. Bryan tried to get out of it, and then he choke slammed him with the mandible claw, and then just choked him out and pinned him, and then The Fiend retained the title. I thought the match was good, but my only complaint is kind of that, like, The Fiend is starting to be tainted in the way where he's just starting to become a normal thing in WWE. Like, The Fiend from SummerSlam, when he faced Finn Balor, and The Fiend we got now, I feel like already are two different people. and mainly because the Fiend before felt like something new, and now that we got him and everybody has pretty much seen him at events and stuff, he just feels like a normal person. And then I don't know, I just feel like there's nothing really special about the Fiend anymore, if that makes any sense. Maybe what they could do is like do more one-offs with the the TV show host Bray Wyatt, the Mr. Rogers Bray Wyatt. But the match was good. Like, it wasn't a terrible match. I thought it was good. But I feel like the Fiend shouldn't have been in that match, I guess, because it kind of like, I wouldn't say it ruined the character. It's just like, oh, he's kind of human now. Like, anybody can really have a match with him, and I thought that was the point of him, was to not do that. After the match, they kind of did a little thing with Bryan where he was trying to, regain his consciousness, and he was falling to the floor when he was trying to walk back to the ramp. So I thought that was pretty good attention to detail. So after that, we got the Raw Women's title match, Asuka versus Becky Lynch, a rematch from the Royal Rumble last year, where Asuka actually beat Becky Lynch for the SmackDown Women's title, and then it was never heard from again. Yeah, so that's and then Asuka was never heard from again. She lost the women's title. She ended up getting put in the WrestleMania Women's Battle Royal, and she pretty much turned into a nothing. So they built up Asuka recently, and they're pretty much building this match on the fact that Asuka is the one person that Becky has not beaten, and it's pretty much eating her alive that she cannot beat Asuka, and she feels as though that is what's holding her back from, I guess, I wouldn't say reaching her full potential, because, I mean, she's the champion. But she feels like Asuka is the one person she hasn't beaten yet, and she doesn't feel like she is the best unless she has beaten the best. So, the match happened. I wouldn't say I hated it. I thought their match at the Rumble last year was better. I didn't really pay attention to it as much. I mean, I like the finish of the match. It really brought in the story of it. Because, Asuka hits people with the green mist now. That's like her thing. And she hit Becky with it. And Becky actually sold it pretty well. The match itself was cool. I thought it had its moments, but it wasn't better than... It's, like, not better than the Rumble match from last year. The match from Rumble last year was actually really good. Basically, the end of the match was just a bunch of ref shenanigans. And Asuka tried to hit Becky with the poison mist. And Becky kicks Asuka right before she spits it. And basically the mist ends up on Asuka's face. It's kind of poetic. And then she caught her with the disarmor, and Asuka has no choice but to tap out. Becky retains the title, and then they do like little shots and close-ups of Asuka with the green mist in her face. So I thought that was pretty cool. After that, we got the main event. The 30-man Royal Rumble match. And this, how am I trying to say this? It's the 30-man Royal Rumble match. Brock Lesnar announced he's entering at number 1. Rusev and Bobby Lashley were supposed to be in this match, but they did an angle, or the commentary said angle. I don't know why they couldn't film something. Or basically, Rusev and Bobby Lashley won't be in the match because they fought in the parking lot. So they pretty much gave up 2 spots in the match. So Brock Lesnar comes out at number 1. And then number 2 was Elias. Elias tried to perform a song before Brock Lesnar came in, took out Elias, hit him with the guitar, and eliminated him. So I liked the stuff they did with Brock in this match. I thought it was actually interesting and entertaining. But at the same time, there was one part of the match, which I'll get to, with Brock, Keith Lee, and Braun Strowman. That's the one part I didn't like. So basically, he was just eliminating people left and right. It was Elias, then Bobby Roode, then eventually Eric Rowan. John Morrison got out quick. I think he only lasted like 8 or 9 seconds. And then number 6, Kofi Kingston came out. And they mentioned on commentary about what happened that dreadful day when Brock Lesnar beat Kofi Kingston in like 9 seconds on SmackDown. That shit. Ooh, I don't even want to talk about it. I got put in Twitter jail because of that. Because, like, I was really upset that they did my man's Kofi like that. So Kofi came out, and you could see in his face that he wanted to kill Brock because Brock is the man that took the WWE title away from him. So he came in. He eventually started going at it with Brock before Brock picked him up, drove him into the corner, hit him with a German suplex. Then eventually Big E came out. No, not Big E. Kofi Kingston. Rey Mysterio came out, and then it's also kind of a story they were building, a story arc they're building and finishing. That's kind of why I like this whole shit with Brock. Basically, Kofi and Rey Mysterio, who both had beef with Brock. Rey Mysterio had a title match against Brock at Survivor Series. Brock beat up his son, all types of stuff. So basically, they were trying to go at it with Brock, and Brock took him out. Big E came in, and it was basically the minorities versus Brock. And basically, they all tried to take out Brock before Brock just took them all out and eliminated everybody. But it was actually a pretty cool spot where Kofi hit Brock with the Trouble in Paradise, and they all took Brock down. They were trying to build it up to where they thought they could eliminate Brock, but they couldn't. Brock took them all out. After that, Cesaro came out, got eliminated. Shelton Benjamin came out. You know, him and Brock go way back. He got eliminated. Shinsuke got eliminated. MVP came out, and that was actually pretty dope. He came out with the Black Panther attire, but eventually he got eliminated. Then number 13 came out, and it's none other than Keith Lee. And then that's when Brock was like, oh, okay, let's get it. He was like, that's a big boy. So Keith Lee came out, and they were trying to build up, is he going to be able to take out Keith Lee? You know, pretty much everybody in the wrestling community have said how much of a showdown between Brock and Keith Lee would be and how great it would be. And people even thought maybe Lee would win the Rumble and then face Brock. But I'm like, y'all have to realize he's still in NXT, and now he's the North American champion now. So, like, he really is in NXT. Like, he's holding a championship now. But they did a little thing, and Keith Lee actually did, like, put Brock Lesnar on the floor with the shoulder tackle. Braun Strowman eventually came out. He did stuff. He did the little runaround thing and took out Keith Lee with a shoulder tackle. But then Brock German suplexed Braun. And then eventually he eliminated both Keith Lee and Braun. And I didn't really like that, off of the simple fact that I just felt like they should have did more between Lee and Brock. They only did like a shoulder tackle, and then that was it. Like, at least let Keith Lee hit Brock with a pounce. And then he just eliminated him like they were nothing. And I thought, oh, maybe Lee's the one to kind of, you know, give Brock a run for his money, but it wasn't. So then after that, who came out? Ricochet came out. They had an angle between Ricochet and Brock where he said he wasn't scared to face Brock, and he kicked Brock and then Brock kicked Ricochet in the nuts. So Ricochet returned the favor after, you know, getting beat up by Brock, and then Drew McIntyre came out, and then this is the turning point of the match, honestly. This is when everybody in the crowd lost it. So Ricochet caught Brock lacking by hitting him in the nuts, and then Drew McIntyre hit him with a Claymore kick and sent Brock over the top rope and eliminated him. And the look on Brock Lesnar's face said it all. That look on his face told me Drew McIntyre is either going to win the Rumble or he's going to find a way to face Brock at WrestleMania. We'll find out. And as you can see by now, one of those things happened. Drew McIntyre eventually eliminated Ricochet. The Miz came out. He eliminated him. AJ came out at number 18. They pretty much had their little thing. Calf crusher attempt on Drew. Dolph Ziggler came out at number 19. I didn't really care. They did like a little thing between Ziggler and Drew because, you know, they were like tag team champions. They were a team at one point. Then Carl Anderson came out at number 20. Didn't really do much. But then 21 No Savage, number 21 came out. I'm like, who it is? I hear, you think you know me. And I lost it. I jumped out of my chair and I was like, yo, Edge, my boy Edge, one of the GOATs, came out to a crowd of just excitement. Everybody lost it. They gave him the pyro and everything. It was an amazing atmosphere in return for Edge. He came in. They missed one spear on the TV on the stream because they were showing the crowd reactions instead of showing what was going on in the match. But he hit Dolph Ziggler with a spear. And then he hit, who else did he hit with a spear? He hit everybody with a spear, basically. Then there was a standoff between AJ and Edge that makes me think that, oh, maybe they should have a match in the near future, maybe at WrestleMania. But from the looks of it, I think I know if Edge is having a match at Mania, I think I know who he's going to have it against. So Corbin comes out. Then Matt Riddle comes out. There was a spear that Edge hit AJ with where AJ actually tried to oversell it by doing a flip, and he pretty much separated his shoulder. So he had to be eliminated just because of that by Edge, which I didn't know until I read on Wrestling Inc. about it. Matt Riddle came out, and I thought that him and Brock were going to have a standoff because, Matt Riddle's whole thing is that he wants to be the one to retire Lesnar. And apparently him and Lesnar had a verbal encounter, a verbal argument backstage. So let's be interested to see where that goes. I guess that makes sense why Riddle didn't have the standoff with Brock and instead just had a little cameo before he got eliminated by Corbin. Gallows came out, didn't really care. Randy Orton came out at number 25 for a reaction. Basically was RKOing people. We got the reuniting rated RKO, so I thought that was pretty dope. Then eventually Kevin Owens comes out. No, Roman Reigns comes out at number 26. Kevin Owens comes out at 27. He hits Roman with the stunner, hits Randy Orton with the stunner. I thought that was pretty cool. The 28 entrance was Aleister Black. He came in, hit people with a few strikes. There was one part where Drew hit Black with the headbutt, the Glasgow Kiss. But after he did that, he tries to go for the Claymore kick, and Aleister Black actually hit him with a my bad. My bad, somebody texting me. Basically, Aleister Black caught Drew McIntyre with the Black Mass after trying to go for a Claymore kick. After that, number 29 was Samoa Joe. Then eventually number 30 was Seth Rollins. He came in with the whole gang, the whole squad. And basically, they were in there for the part of getting Samoa Joe and Kevin Owens eliminated. Buddy Murphy hit Joe with a knee to the head, and then Seth Rollins eliminated him. AOP pretty much helped Seth get Kevin Owens out, and then they all just brawled with each other because, they all got beef. And then eventually Seth Rollins got eliminated because he was trying to reunite with Roman Reigns, but, he's a heel now. So Roman was like, all right, I got you. Hit him with a Superman punch, and they all eliminated Seth. So the final four ended up being Randy, Drew, Roman, and Randy, Drew, Roman, and Edge, the final four. We saw basically Rated RKO team up against the young guys. They go at it. Looks like Randy Orton is about to hit Edge with a spear. But Edge, being called the ultimate opportunist, they don't call him that for nothing, he eliminates Randy Orton. And Randy Orton's like, oh, wow. Okay. Because, he's the ultimate opportunist. If he's going to take an opportunity, he's going to take it. That's his thing. So then Drew McIntyre is taken out by a spear, I believe, from Edge. And then Edge and Roman go at it. Roman tries to spear Edge. Edge moves out the way. He spears Roman. He throws Roman over the top, and it looks like he's about to eliminate Roman. But Roman somehow gets Edge over the top rope, and they both are fighting on the apron before Roman eliminates Edge, and the fans didn't really fuck with that. After that, we get a one-on-one standoff between Drew and Roman, who had matches against each other over the summer and at WrestleMania. They go at it. Looks like Roman is about to go for a spear before Drew McIntyre hits a Claymore kick and tosses Roman Reigns out of the ring. And your 2020 Men's Royal Rumble winner, Drew McIntyre. Drew McIntyre is the number one contender now. He's going to get a championship match, assuming and pretty much almost confirmed that he's going to face Brock Lesnar for the WWE Championship at WrestleMania. Drew, I did not expect him to win off of the fact that I just didn't like what WWE was doing with Drew and how they were booking him. I didn't really like how he just pretty much just was a nothing. He was just another guy on the roster. If you need a good match, then hit Drew up, but he was nothing more than just I don't know. I don't even know what he was on the main roster at one point. I thought I had Roman winning just so he can, face The Fiend, but I guess we're not going to get that. Well, we probably will, but it'll just be different. But yeah, Drew McIntyre won. Got a crazy reaction. The fireworks go off. He points at the WrestleMania sign. It's not an actual sign because they're in a stadium. Not a stadium. A baseball stadium. So he points at the screen that has the WrestleMania logo. Pyro goes off. Drew McIntyre almost looked like he's about to cry. So I thought that was actually pretty cool moment. I'm happy to see that WWE is finally realizing how much talent they have in Drew and it's great. I'm happy for Drew. Overall, I thought this pay-per-view was actually pretty good. I didn't really have much that there was stuff I didn't like, but it was nothing to really take me out of the pay-per-view itself. Like, I still enjoyed a majority of everything, so that's pretty cool. Overall, the stuff with Brock in the match I actually enjoyed until it just got stupid with the Keith Lee and Braun Strowman stuff. That's the part I didn't like, but everything else was cool. It kind of felt like a video game, like who was going to be able to take Brock out and whatnot. So I thought that was pretty dope. But yeah, more reviews coming out. Like, comment, favorite, subscribe. Do what you do to support me. Follow me on all my social media links down in the description below. Anyway, guys, I'm out. Peace.